folks, welcome to the Coney Library, Miss Q's cooking class gone virtual. We're going to be making a soup today out of this cookbook. It's a celery root, onions, apple, parsnip, and carrots, along with a open-faced sandwich made of avocado, very thin sliced red onions, and the magic ingredient, everything bagel. It's delish. So stay tuned. I'm gonna prep this and we'll be back. So we're going to be peeling the celery root, get all this nice skin off, to then cube it and set it aside so I could do the rest of my vegetables. So we're going to cut the ends on our parsnip and peeling them to then cube them to add to the soup. Next we're doing our onion. So we're just gonna cut it and chop it up. Carrots. I am not going to peel my carrots as they are really thin and they're nice and clean anyway, so I'm just going to chop them up, dice them, and then add them on. Little core. Whoop, you see how neat that works? Oh, but I still have to. And then just peel. See if this. So we're got everything prepped up and we're going to get ready to start our soup. So I have this on high. I am going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I like to measure my olive oil, my oil period, because believe it or not, you can go over and there's no need to. Because you can always add more, but you can't take it away. So we have our 2 tablespoons of olive oil that covers the pot. I'm adding 2 cups of chopped onions. Root, that's what it is. Then I'm going to add the chopped garlic, which is 2 tablespoons of chopped olive. And my 2 tablespoons of coriander, which I have in seed. I toast it and then I grind it down. The flavor is more intense when you buy it in seed and toast it and grind it yourself. That's good. Then we have 1/4 teaspoon of the pepper, black pepper. And we have 1½ teaspoon of salt. And 1 teaspoon of basil. So we're going to let this sort of saute for about 5 minutes. And then we'll add the rest of the ingredients. Okay, so we've cooked down the onions with the seasonings for about 6 minutes. Now we're going to add all the vegetables. So I have 2 cups of carrots here. And then I'm going to add a cup and a half of parsley. Just continue to stir this. I want to make sure it's nice and coated. A cup and a half of our celery root. No, 2 cups, I'm sorry, of celery root, the chunks of it. And this is a cup of apple, whatever apple you like. This one happens to be a honey crisp, which is so good, super sweet. So I'm going to continue to stir this for about 10 minutes. Don't let it stick to the bottom. If it does start sticking, the vegetables, just add a little bit of water. Make sure everything gets nice and coated over the vegetables. Yum, yum, yum. This smell is awesome. Look at that lovely melody of veggies. Okay. So now, the recipe calls for water, but I'm going to add some organic free-range chicken broth because I want a much richer flavor in my soup. And I love this specific foods broth. It only has 40 grams of sodium, which is really, really good. And total of 1 gram of sugar. So I'm going to add the whole thing in and then a cup of water. This is 4 cups of chicken broth. So basically this is the only thing that I changed in the recipe. You can keep it the same by just adding the water. And a cup of water. And I'm going to stir this up. And I'm going to let it sit and cook for about 20 to 25 minutes. So while the soup is cooking, we're going to make an open-faced sandwich on flatbread, which I'm going to toast in the oven with some thin sliced red onions and some mashed avocado. And my secret will be the everything bagel slice one. So let's get started. Beautiful. It's nice and light. So I kind of like to cut it up a little bit before I put it in my bowl. Just put a little more. Makes it easier for mashing it up in the bowl. This, by the way, is not in the book. This is just me wanting something to go with the soup. And so I love avocado. And I usually make them into like a, sort of like a spread. Usually I do sunny side up eggs and then sprinkle my everything bagel spice, which my son-in-law, by the way, loves. So every time I go visit them, I always make it for him. So I'm gonna mash this up. So we finished cutting up the avocado, mashing it up, and now we're gonna slice up some red onion, nice and thin. To top off the I'm going to cut this nice and thin. Let's see if this. So we're going to toast the flatbread. Put that in the oven. The soup is already done. We're going to let it cool off because I'm going to puree it. And then we're going to put it all together and show you guys what we have. Okay, so we're going to puree this a little bit. The soup is already So we blended the soup. You can put the soup in a food processor or a blender and it'll be pureed. I kind of like a little chunky, so I used a hand blender, which, you know, left some chunks. So here we have our soup. And then we warmed up the flatbread. We're gonna add some avocado spread. All it has is a half a teaspoon of salt, 2 avocados, and I'm gonna put the slices of onions, and sprinkle some everything bagel. And there you have it. And that's gonna be for my cameraman. Enjoy. Thanks for coming in and watching us prepare another cooking class. I want to give out thanks to Josh at the Carney Library in New Jersey, my cameraman Sebastian, who's always very helpful, and hope to see you in March. We're going to make another soup. Thank you.